This is Wade, and you are in Wade World. Today, we're going to go and dive into the Reddit hive mind because if the internet is universal human consciousness, Reddit is the mirror of this consciousness. So, let's see really quick how we're gonna do this. Reddit is literally, of course, they also cater the feed to you. Reddit is a good reflection of what the average online person is like, but it's not a good reflection of what people are like in real life. Because even today, most people who are online are not normal representation of people around you. Because online, it gives you anonymity, allows you to say whatever the hell you want, whereas in normal life, you have feedback, whether it is violent feedback, you get punched in the face for saying stupid stuff, or conflict, whereas online, you can just hide behind the screen and do whatever you want. And different social medias are different, right? So, for example, Instagram is more like lifestyle. Buying and selling the dollar is a joke now. So let's see what people, and this is from like an unsigned non-Reddit account. So there is no account. If you don't have an account, this is what Reddit throws you away. It's like, here you go, here's humanity. You want, sign up. So what's something Gen Z is getting completely right that older generations refuse to admit? All right, let's check it out. Removed by moderator. All right, before we get into this, 11 or 12, right? You think you know more than people give you credit for. That's normal. Everybody who was at 11 or 12 and you thought the same way. When you were in your teens, you have a lot of idealism and a lot of energy, and you're like, wow, these adults are idiots and they're evil, and we change the world. That's fine. We're all been 14 and 15. We've all had that energy. As you grow older, it's not about the age. So that's the one thing that you guys have to understand. It's not about the age, it's about the experiences of when your ideas meet reality. Those experiences define who you become as an adult. And the experiences tell you that what you have an idea of in your head about reality may not always be what reality truly is. Right? So, for example, you may think that everybody's awesome and the world is all rainbows and butterflies until you go and get punched in the face or stabbed or get mugged. And then you'll be like, wow, maybe they're just misunderstood people. Right. Until you get mugged and punched repeatedly again and you begin to see a pattern. Now, how quickly you see the pattern is an indication of how intelligent you are. And this is just a fact. Pattern recognition is one of the biggest indicators of intelligence, especially pattern recognition IQ. And there's also spatial IQ, which is the way you can see different angles of not just situations, but objects. So it would make you a good designer of rockets or cars or whatever you want. So whatever Gen Z thinks they get right, you have to look at it from the lens of people who are older. And it's not just that you're getting older. Oh, I'm older. I'm 20s. I'm 30s. I'm 40s. I'm older. Nah. When you're 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? You still live at home. You still depend on your parents. So you have no care in the world. You don't have to earn your keep. When you're older means you have to supply yourself with the means to feed yourself, clothe yourself, house yourself. Then when you're really older and when you can really have opinions is when you have your own children. So you have to house yourself, your wife, or your children as a man. You have to feed everybody. So there are multiple people dependent on you. You have to maintain order in this chaos. Like you have to enforce discipline. You have to make decisions that not only affect you, but everybody else around you. That gives you the perspective to actually assess what the younger generations are right about because we tend to forget.
It's easy to be idealistic when you don't have no bills, but when you have bills, idealism meets reality, right? And this would be the case even if there was no currency. You would have to support yourself. So anyway, let's see. Less drinking. This is very true. And drinking is nuanced. We could go into drinking, but if we look at drinking as an adaptation, the reason, and this is a racial thing, so just get it out of your mind, right? Like, oh my God, the Muslims don't drink, or like the Jews don't eat pork. It's a racial thing, guys. If you are European or European adjacent, or Nordic, Caucasian, whatever, alcohol actually had a very practical function in the extremely harsh and cold environment you were in for most of the year, which was to dilate the blood vessels so you felt warm and could function longer in the cold without getting drunk. Although, when you came inside from the cold, that's when the alcohol would hit your brain. If you don't believe Wade, what you should try and do if you're of the legal drinking age, wherever you are, is go outside on a cold day and drink and try to get drunk at whatever three, four beers you want, or maybe one or two cocktails. You will find it incredibly harder to get drunk on a very cold day because the alcohol is doing its job. It's dilating your blood vessels to make sure you don't freeze to death, your fingers don't fall off due to frostbite. Now go inside to a warm place and drink the same amount and see how fast you get drunk. You can actually have a timer. You can time yourself doing this. So alcohol is an adaptation that is specifically for people and races in cold climates. But the thing is, technology has improved to the point that you're not on the world up to the point where you don't require a degree. Right, saying no thanks to shitty jobs with shitty wages and no benefits, split shifts, all the other ways employees exploit their workers. All right, this is something that you need to pay attention to. It's not always been like this. Remember, people, your grandparents, or some of your parents in the 70s, they could work for 2 years and then put a down payment on a house. They could work for this. They could work for months and buy basically, like, you can call it looting or stealing. Said inflation is going to be 2%, it's all right. But if they say we're going to loot you 2% more next year, and then they keep adding it, so right, in 1930, the U.S. central bank was established, the Federal Reserve, and the United States dollar has lost like 97% of its value. So if this told you, like, next year we're going to loot you 98%, you would be very mad. You are living in those times. So the looting has always been there, but now they have looted you to such an extent that you are facing all of these issues. The jobs have become shitty because the people are really next to the poverty line. The wages are shitty because the currency has been looted of value. Benefits can't be paid because the currency has been looted of value. So basically, central banking turns you into slaves. It's just over a period of time, and it gives you iPhones, and it gives you distraction, and it gives you social media, and it gives you alcohol, tells you to have fun. But at the end, you're still a slave. You're a slave on a plantation that literally, if you break the rules, you'll be homeless and you'll die. So, yeah, this is more a list of what a generation living in the terminal decline of a civilization thinks, right? Drinking whale ice, that's good. As an older generation, is one thing I love working with Gen Z. Give them a job, text a deadline. If they can't meet the deadline, need to know. If they need more information, I need to know. No drama, just results on timeline. If I don't care if they're working in 3 hours a day. Yeah, this is literally the the fact that if you are a balanced leader, you understand that you have your timeline of when the work gets to be done. So you give the people that who are leading the time in which the work needs to get done. If they can do it faster, great. What the problem is if they can't do it on time. If they can take the whole time to do it, that's also fine and perfectly acceptable. But if they can do it faster, you shouldn't be punishing them by giving them more work. Wade has never done this. Wade has employees multiple times. If an employee just finished what was required in an hour instead of a day, cool, chill out, relax. There's not going to be extra work just because you finished fast. So you can just relax. This is the natural way of doing things. And this used to be the natural way of doing things. But because again, when they're looting you, they're also dividing you. They're telling you, oh, your parents were this and your grandparents were that. So you don't actually talk to them. If you had talked to them, you would have known how they would have worked as well. And this is what a normal work day would look like in some jobs. Of course, you can't be a miner and complain like, "Oh my God, like I gotta go work." Like, dude, you're working in a mine. That is your whole job. You get up, you go to the bloody coal mine, and you get out in the evening after mining coal all day. So, yeah. Thanks to the work-life balance, also haven't drunk. That's good. Discarding gender roles is also an indication of the end of a civilization. Phone calls are stupid. Don't call me unless I know you. Why are you calling? Typing is a bad system. Tipping is a bad system. Pay the workers. The love of cozy pre-internet furniture and decor. All right, now we're getting into nonsense. But one of them is actually good. Tipping is a bad system and phone calls are stupid. So phone calls are stupid is not actually a thing. But here's the thing. The internet allows you to communicate much more efficiently. Phone calls force you to be social. So if you can communicate much more efficiently, it taxes your brain less, it taxes your emotions less. That's why texting is preferred because you can just be like boom, 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 boom. The problem is tonality. In texting, tonality is extremely important. So emojis are very necessary, honestly. Like you could be asking people like, hey, how's your day? Like, hey, how's your day? Hey, how's your day? They won't know this on text until you actually use an emoji. So that's something that a lot of you should understand. Like texting is efficient, calling is for people you actually care and know about, and that's fine. The other one was tipping. Tipping is a very America specific thing. Again, it's decline of a civilization. Tipping was usually not a bribe, it was appreciation for someone who went above and beyond. And throughout the history of mankind, throughout time, this is a very tiny minority of people who go above and beyond to serve you, just out the goodness of their heart or whatever. And you like, hey, I appreciate you. And the best people because of the service they provide. It's so good you feel like, man, this guy is good. I wanna tip him. In America, it's a shaming tactic. So that's it. I think most of the other stuff is random. So let's see what else Reddit is going to throw on our someone who had parked like this next to me. Why though? Like, would but okay, maybe. Dress for the job you want. Peter, my IQ is low. A boy was born in 1950 and he died in 19, but his age was 20 years. Tell me how. All right. I just went to get pizza, have a new granddaughter now. Yeah, all right. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas Scott walking through the house at the Capitol. So just seen. Trooper pulled me over. I was cruise control 65. He told me I was going 73, then put down 76. Now to fight this in court. All right. If you have evidence, how much more water does taking a Polaroid require over storing a photo in a data center? 1,000 times less water to store a photo in a data center for 5 years than to print it on a Polaroid. All right, so for 5,000 years, Polaroid wins after 5,000 years. Would you do the same thing? Six men competed on a dating show? Nah. They're pre-fucked. Why would you compete for something that's coming pre-used? That makes zero sense. Am I overreacting for refusing to let my mom use my limited? Yeah, because unless you own your own thing. And again, this is an indication of families being torn apart. T Mobile just ripped 8 million customers off their grandfather plan. That thing. That's the thing about capitalism and all these anti people systems. And WAYDE is absolutely against communism, also, by the way. It's basically Judaism for non Jews. It's it gives you this illusion that you're in a free market, you're in a fair market, and you'll get what you really deserve and everything's fair. No, it's not. It's a power versus powerless play. T-Mobile can rip 8 million customers off because none of these 8 million customers, or very few of them, are actually going to band together at any level, at any specific level, to go after T-Mobile. And then T-Mobile probably calculated like, hey, if 8 million customers, we can rip them off. Maybe 80 of them will file a lawsuit. We can give all of them, well, 80 of them, like $10,000 each. That's $800,000. And then we'll be saving like billions of dollars. Do you see the math here? The math is not let's work together. The math is antagonistic. Like, I'm going to fuck these people over because they're too weak to fight, which is true. Most of you lack the will to fight. And this is just true. It's just more comforting to sit in front of the computer with your iPhone and with your Starbucks and just, numb yourself, or just Instagram, like, what's he doing? Most of you men are simps out there, honestly. And so that's probably what you are working with. That's who you are. And no amount of willpower is going to spontaneously generate until you develop it. What's the biggest lie you can call out because would have exposed how you found out? This could be interesting. All right, let's see. Yeah. Should we jump over to Twitter? Because that would definitely be one of the biggest lies. All right, I worked in IVF clinic. We had an A-list star who, after several rounds, could not carry a pregnancy, so she hired a surrogate. Newest movie to a self-hit star. Hey, you got a surrogate. You didn't get fat. It was so tough to bite my lip. They didn't know. Who gives a damn, man? It sucks, but it is. This is actually A-list star could not carry a pregnancy. You know why? Because they buy the bullshit. Like, oh, fuck around when you're a teenager in your early 20s. Have fun. You can be a parent anytime. No, I can be a parent anytime. I'm a man. You can't be a parent anytime. Your highest fertility window is in your teens, early 20s, mid 20s, and then it drops off a fucking cliff. So she couldn't get pregnant because she was sucking and fucking and being a whore most of her life. And then when she decided to get pregnant, this is probably Jennifer Aniston, by the way, she couldn't. She couldn't. We're talking 30 pregnancy rates fall off a cliff, not 40, 30. We're talking 27. We're talking 26. 35 geriatric pregnancy, 40, 41. This is crazy. So, you know, there's there is an intentional misdirection and misguidance of girls in this regard and of men in this regard as well, because this is the best way for population control of a population that you hate, because it doesn't force them to not have children. It incentivizes them by lying to them and catering to their basest instincts. All right. Caught my roommate stealing from me, but couldn't say anything without admitting I checked his room. Well, that's just because you're a pussy. You could have done it. Back in college, me and my butt. Stealing is more than checking the room. Back in college, we did go McDonald's, blah, blah, boring. My work before is currently hiding the fact that he and a co-worker at a different location at child together live together with both of the other children. All right. This is more a list of just people being too much of a pussy to actually do what they should be doing. All right. Amazing and easy gym and dinner for the family. Worst plastic surgery in the history of. This is just aging. This is not even plastic surgery. This is just aging. This is. This is just a girl who has. She's a pretty girl. She's not a beautiful girl. He just aged, man. Hollywood has this because they want to push this on you simps out there, right? Like, oh, successful men will go after late 30s women who are 40s women who will be pre-fucked and love. Nah, man. Men with options don't go after aging, eh? into a man that will suck, man. Oh, who's this? Oh, that's very pretty. All right. Most of them are aging, dude. It's giving cheap Halloween costume cosplay. That's not too bad. This is more like just not surgery. This is more just women aging. And here's the thing, we're going to keep this session light. You should really find out from your biology propaganda textbooks how much faster girls age than men. Not only are men fertile to the end of their lives, we also age slower. Our bones are stronger, our skin has more collagen, so we look younger for far longer. Girls start looking older much, much quicker. Much quicker. It sucks. It's like a double whammy. So girls are like shooting stars, like, right? Bam, teenage, early 20s. They're like, yay, everybody look at me. Pretty girls. And then the fall is like off a fucking cliff. The skin, the body, it's just designed to fail faster. Whoever designed human beings designed it like this. So a lot of this is just aging, man. Like a 40-year-old man won't look like this, but a 40-year-old woman, 100%. And without makeup, a lot of them. Anyway, that was a peek into the hive mind. It's been pretty chill today, so let's leave it here because if we jump over to Twitter, we're gonna go right back to what we always go to, and that we'll keep for next time. But it was interesting. It was an interesting session, and until next time, as always, Wade said,
Keep it cool, keep it smart, and enjoy, because that is what we do.